Hello, hello, hello. It is your baby boomer Kitty Lane from the peninsula in Virginia, back with another Create and Relate. How are you this sunny afternoon here in Hampton, Virginia? Tell me what the weather is like where you are. I don't have a night bot, so you got to tell me what the weather's like. How is everyone today? I know this is different from what you've been seeing for the past few lives. And it's not that I'm not working on it, it's that my mind needed a break. And I guess you see in the title that we are, forgive my hair, y'all, forgive my clothes. It's, I don't even know what the temperature's like here, Joan. Hey, Joan, I'm sorry. I did not say hello. Hey, sis. I lost my, there we go. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm working on. But first, I want to tell you what I have in my cup. I have something so different. I have my French roast coffee, my Great Value French roast coffee, and I do have International Delight sweet cream and caramel macchiato, but I'm using the little cups that they have at the little convenience stores because we're out of creamer. So my daughter just went and got me a handful of those. So I got 10 ounces of coffee and about 5 ounces of creamer. I did use a tablespoon of regular granulated sugar as well because it wasn't quite sweet enough. Also, with my pinch of salt and my drip of vanilla flavoring. And I thank Michelle so much for that hint. Oh my goodness. It does take the bite off of it. So I do have that. Water's kind of sparing around here right now, but we'll hopefully fix that soon. Okay, so what am I working on? I told you in the last video that Juan does this thing called Juan the Yarn Addict has this thing called Taco Tuesdays, where he puts all of these ideas into a jar and you pick out those. He picks out four every Tuesday, and you have an opportunity to make four small makes, or you can make a big one in a week, or whatever you choose to do. You don't have to make anything. You can just enjoy the camaraderie. Um, but I decided since I was needing a break mentally that I was going to try to do something. And one of the challenges for this week was a cake make, a scrap cake make. And I pulled one of my scrap cakes and I combined two videos. Y'all know I like to combine things. So I was looking at Auntie Setta's video, her crochet with me video, and she's doing a cover for her couch. And she happened to mention in there that she never knew how to measure how long and how wide to make her piece, her rectangle. So I thought about it and I'm like, and I'm a little mathy geek. So I started thinking, I'm like, it has to do with ratios. And I started making little swatches. So, like, this is a 1 to 3 ratio. And what it is, my first round started with three the long way and one on the side. Hey, Marcia. So I started with the three the long way and one on the side. And then, of course, that increased in my corners. This is all half double crochet. I did two half double crochet, two chains in this corner. And then, of course, you increase it by the round. But this is the 1 to 3 ratio. This one is the 1:5 ratio. As you can see, it's a little bit longer. I'm still using from the same cake and a little narrower along that way. And that's 1:5, one on each end and 5 across the top. All of my sides will start as 1. And I was more satisfied with this one that I'm working on. This is a 1:7 ratio. And of course, the wider you want it, you would increase that number using odd numbers. So the next step up will be a 1:9 ratio, a 1:11 ratio. And what you do to start that ratio, like this is 1:7, I crocheted 8 chains. And then I did my stackable singles to create I did this one in double crochet. My stackable singles to make my first double crochet. And then I chain 2, go across those 7 stitches. In that same one of the 7th, you chain 2, crochet 1, chain 2, and then you do your 7 across the bottom with your last stitch, ending where your very first stitch started. So that's your 1:7, and you increase each row as you go around. Like I said, I like this one a little bit better. It shows more of a definitive rectangle to me. This one kind of puts me in mind of like a soap dish. So if I wanted to make bathroom accessories, I would probably go with my 1:5 ratio. This one puts me in mind of a bed, not a bed sleeping pillow, but like a bed accent pillow that you really don't want quite square, but close to it, more like the ones they sell in the store that's not quite square. So that's what this one put me in the mind of. So my suggestion, if you want to figure out, and I hope Auntie Setta watches this, but if you want to figure out what size you want it or how big or how long you want it, and if you don't want to take the actual measurements, then use the ratio system. And if you want any more details about that, I'll be happy to help you. You can always reach out to me through by way of email. You can leave comments here. So I told you what I have in my cup, and I showed you what I'm currently working on. The other thing that he had was, it's so nice we had to do it twice, and that is running 2 strands together. Whatever that project ends up being, I'm going to do those 2. I'm going to start out with these 2 colors, running them together. I'm stash busting. I am seriously stash busting. So I have a black and I have a green. And I'm pretty sure the green is Big Twist. The black, from the feel of it, I would say that it's probably Mainstay. It doesn't feel, it's not as thin and it's not quite as soft as the Big Twist. So I'm thinking this one is Mainstay. When I get down to scraps, I don't keep the ball band. The other colors I have in this bag are purple and gray, unknown origin. And even though it's going to be scrap, I am still running the 2 strands together. I also have my trusty jar. So I'll be dipping in here as well. I can go ahead and put those in there. Okay. And that's going to be the next one I start on. I'm going to be incorporating those colors. I have a drawer, one of those bins that I have, full of scrap yarn. So I am definitely, full of scrap cakes. So this is definitely going to grow from this one. Right now we have yellow, gold, white, and like a tweed, dark blue and gray. So that's where it's going to grow from. So the last time I talked to you, I told y'all that I had been going through something and I used advice and I reached out to my therapist and it brought up the topic of the day because I got a new diagnosis. Yay, fun. And that diagnosis is called PDD. So I got to add some more alphabets to my current alphabets. Y'all know that I'm OCD and ADHD and suffer from PTSD. Well, I can add PDD to it. And what is PDD? It's persistent depressive disorder, what other people call high functioning depression. So I want y'all to come on in and get settled. Okay, Joan. Well, I'm sitting and watching you and work. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's what I want y'all to do. I want y'all to work. Yes. That says 2 degrees. Okay. That's what I was going to say. 2 degrees. Jesus. But I see it's 72 degrees, drinking water, and a mosaic blanket. Okay, cool. Cool. That's in Atlanta. I got family in Atlanta. I have family in Stone Mountain. And my brother is there. And yeah, I've been down. I've been to Atlanta quite a few times actually. My first trip there was in 2010. I took my first real vacation from my job, and my cousin at the time lived there in Mableton, which is on the outskirts of Atlanta. And oh boy, the stories I have about Mableton. Woo! First of all, I'm not going to tell you about the personal family stuff because even though it's funny, I'm going to leave that out. But I can tell you this, right around the corner and down the hill from my cousin's house was the community swimming pool and tennis court right beside each other. And if you remember in 2010, I was introduced to spoken word. So I was very much into writing my poetry and my crocheting. So I'm going down to the pool. I didn't want to get in. I just wanted to sit at poolside and do some writing and crocheting. They had the option of closing the gate. And I figured, why not? It was open when I came. So I might as well leave it open. So I did. And I started hearing on the other side of the pool was a little bit of woods. And I started hearing some rustling of the leaves. And I wasn't uneasy. I felt like I was in a community and maybe somebody that was out there walking their dog or something. So I felt safe. I felt okay. And lo and behold, I look up and there are six eyes looking at me. And no, it was not an owner and the owner's dog. It wasn't the owner in glasses and the owner's dog or the owner and two dogs. It was three coyotes, y'all. It was three coyotes. I wish you all could have seen my little wobbly behind trying to run up that hill. But it just so happened that my cousin was on his way down to the tennis court with his wife to get some practice in, and they saw me running up the hill. So he just pulled up a little bit faster and swung the car door open. We laughed for about 15 minutes before I was able to tell him what I was running from. And then the seriousness hit us for about 2 seconds. And we went back to laughing. He was like, Kathy, I had no idea you could run that fast. I say that to say to anybody, I don't care what your situation is, Y'all know me, outside of the house, I get around on a scooter. Anybody in any situation can do some amazingly miraculous thing. Because y'all, I was running. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. Okay, so we're going to talk about PDD. Before I start, disclaimer, I am not a medical professional by any means. Regardless of all the schooling that I've had in the field, I am not qualified to diagnose anybody. I can only bring you information that I learned. And the reason I want to share this is because more people go through this and don't realize it. And this is where I tell you all constantly, stay in tune with yourself because you know you better than anybody else. No one else knows you like you know you. So, what is PDD? PDD is persistent depressive disorder. It's also known as high functioning depression. The definition that I was able to get was it's a low mood occurring for at least 2 years, along with at least two other symptoms of depression. Like I said, being completely transparent, I do suffer from PTSD. I am ADHD. I suffer from OCD, and I suffer from anxiety disorder. So, with me getting that diagnosis yesterday morning, I went on a hunt. I went on a hunt to find as much information as I could so I could share it. So now that we have the definition, we want to know about the signs and symptoms. I don't like to say symptoms because it's not what I really call an illness. It's more of a condition. So, what are the signs? Loss of interest in normal activities, loss of joy in activities once loved, hopelessness, overcompensating with busyness, being overly self critical, low self esteem, low appetite, low energy, feeling alone even in a crowd, sleep changes, poor concentration, perfectionism as a mask. That one I think hit me harder than the others because I'm always authentic and transparent, but I smile when I don't want people to know just how bad it really is. And I tend to keep a lot of things to myself, which sends me a little further down that hole. One of the things that I found that resonated a little more was this statement. It says, the hardest part is that others may not notice or they might even admire a person's strength while the person inside feels like they're barely holding it together. Do you all have any idea how often I hear, but you're strong. You got it. You're strong. You can handle it. And on the inside, I am crying my eyes out. I am crying my heart out. because I don't know where the next meal is coming from, or I don't know if we're going to be able to cover this bill, or, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it to this doctor's appointment, or anything. And it's more than just the stress of not being able to make it. It's the stress of dealing with the day to day. Can I get up out of bed today? Can I make myself walk outside this door today? It's the simple things that that a lot of people take for granted. The hidden struggles, to hit on that statement that I just said. Hello, Suena, welcome in. I appreciate you coming in. I really do. Thank you so, 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 so much. You all, please don't forget to check the description box below. Don't forget the tummies. And don't forget to check the subscription box below so that you can enjoy some of the people that I enjoy as well. Okay, so hidden struggles. Others may praise the person's strength while they're suffering inside. Another struggle, the danger of isolation because you don't look depressed. And then I ask myself, how does depression look? The man I saw walking up and down the sidewalk yesterday had a frown on his face and he was walking with purpose. But was that depression, or was that a bout of anger, or was he just so focused on what he had to do that that's how he looked? So it all goes back to not judging others, because you really don't know what's going on inside. And for those of us who go through it, one of our therapies is honest conversations with a trusted person. That helps so much. And not just yourself, because hearing your voice reverb off of walls is not like putting those words into another person's ears. Just to hear that other person breathing sometimes is enough to know that you actually spoke it and they heard it, especially when they come in and say, I hear you, I understand, I got you. It's an amazing feeling. The first thing that's recommended for anybody: seek therapy, seek counseling. Don't try to go this alone. And just as I said, I'm not a doctor, not a therapist. Building routines, which is what my therapist had me to start doing. She told me to take a couple of weeks to do it because the kids start school in a few days. Well, in a couple of days because they go back Monday. And with them starting school, I have to get used to that routine all over again. So I have to build from that. The suggestion that she gave me is turn my 24 hours into 15-minute blocks. And the only block I can't break up is the sleep block. But other than that, for every 15-minute block, at the end of that 15 minutes, take 1 to 2 minutes to stand up and stretch or do something different than what I'm doing. If it's sitting here crocheting and I've set aside an hour and a half for crocheting, then there are 6 breaks that I need to take in there, whether it's just walking up to the kitchen and grabbing a bottle of water and coming back, going to the bathroom, going outside and taking in a breath of fresh air, turning and flipping the channels on the TV, anything just to break the monotony of what I'm doing, because lots of times the monotony can help keep us there. Another thing is to rest without guilt. I felt like she slapped me in the face with that one because we all know my sleep habits. I'll catch a nap here and there and stay up all night. I didn't go to bed until 5:30 this morning, only to get up at 9:30. But I'm grateful for those 4 hours. Creative outlets. I'm sure all of us here right now have one common creative outlet, and that's crocheting. And as you know, for me being an author, writing, music, playing with the kids or grandkids, um, figuring up new recipes, visiting with a neighbor, something different to break the monotony. Faith or spiritual grounding if relevant. So, whatever your spiritual background is, maybe talk to a counselor or, your pastor or mother or deacon or someone in the church that can help you. I'm glad that I got this diagnosis because it lets me know what steps I need to take to move forward. If it's any insight or any help to anyone else, don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to talk to someone, a friend, mainly a counselor, mainly, someone. Don't be, don't fall into that little trap of, not wanting to expose yourself to a therapist or not wanting to be labeled as someone who needs therapy. Personally, I think everybody in the world would benefit from therapeutic counseling. I think the world is such that we all need a point that we can go to just to get grounded again. That's personal. That's personal. But the biggest thing I want each of you to know is that, thankfully that I had someone to reach out to. And it also let me know when I'm sharing with each one of you, you're not alone. You are not alone. So you have me in all of my bare authenticity, my moo, my unkempt hair, no makeup. I never wear makeup, but I think my smile is permanent because this is what I've been taught to do all my life. But the other reason I have my smile is because I genuinely have love and joy in my heart. And sometimes part of my therapy is making somebody else's day, making somebody else smile. Yesterday, I made a few phone calls that were long overdue. And one person was my uncle, being the oldest member of our family. And y'all, he's 94, 92. He's 92. And he recently got out of the hospital. But just to hear his voice and just to have him hear mine, just reaching out. And when I got off that call, I felt uplifted. Oof. But when I got off that call, I felt uplifted. I really did. For him to say, I'm happy to hear from you. I reached out to another uncle, but wasn't able to get him. But I felt good that I had at least reached out. So sometimes that's what it's all about. Go through your contacts, see who you haven't talked to in a while. Don't worry about the last time you all talked, you had a little spat or whatever. Life is too short. Reach out. Hey, I just wanted to see how you were doing. It can make all the difference in the world for them and even you too. So now I need some suggestions because I don't know how far to go with this. It's fun and it's quick, and I started it like literally 10 minutes before I got up here. So it's very fresh and new, but I don't know where to go with it. I don't know how far to go with it. I don't know how many of you have seen my um, crochet with me video. I need some feedback. I need to know how you feel about that because I've recorded a few crochet sessions. There's nothing, there's no talking, no music. It's just me crocheting, and it's 15 to 30 minutes of just crocheting. It's like if you need to take a break, if you need like a crochet buddy for 15 to 30 minutes, if you want to see one a little longer. I know sometimes I watch some who have gone up to 2 hours. I don't know if I can sit still that long. I don't know, y'all. I'm just saying. But yeah, I enjoy making those videos. It's another outlet that helps me to feel not so, all alone. But yeah, I mean, you think about it, y'all. My grandkids like grew up too fast. They did. I have a 7-year old and a 10-year old, and they're into the video games and TV and their own toys and things, and it just doesn't include grandma, you know and I can only look at TV so much. Everything is repeated or an extension of what was already there. um so to sit and crochet, which is my love, and to feel like I'm at least doing it with someone feels really good, and I just want to share that feeling. And I also want to remind you guys that even if you just have a little bit of time during the week and you feel like there's nothing to do, y'all, there's some channels that you all can visit that are absolutely amazing. You can go to Miss C's Cottage on Sundays and Wednesdays from 12 to 2. You can catch Juan just about any day of the week, but one of the days that I enjoy the most is Taco Tuesday because it gives you those ideas. He picks 4 things out of a jar. One of the cards says to go to the stitch wheel, and he has a wheel. If you're familiar with anything, he used to do stitches, and he had stitches on the wheel where he would do like hats or scarves or things like that. But now it's all like beautiful, intricate stitches. Most of them I found are really simple, and he has tutorials for each one. And when the project that he pulls out of the jar requires the stitch wheel, he pulls out 5 stitches. You have to choose at least 2. You can use your base stitch as often as you like, but right now, I know this week is the scarf, and he pulled out 5 stitches, and you have to pick 2 of those stitches and make a scarf. This, of course, is not a scarf. Oh my goodness. And like I told you, another one was It's So Nice I Had to Do It Twice, which is running the 2 strands together. And there was, I'm trying not to confuse the weeks, and I don't have the piece of paper by me. I don't know how I lost the whole notebook, y'all. I really don't. I had the notebook up here with me, but somehow or another, I don't know, we got a trickster in here or what, but stuff just be disappearing. And then we go back and look where we looked already, and it's right there. It's like, really? But yeah, you can check one out on Tuesdays. any day of the week, really. And if you ever want any like real cute short stories, go visit Lori. Go visit Lori. And for those of you who wake up early in the morning, Joan, I don't know. But that is a thought to ponder. It is. I need to check that out. Oh my goodness. Now, it was a notebook like this, but I don't think it was this notebook. Hmm. Oh, it was this notebook. Okay, so this week it was the two strands together, the Scrappy Cake Challenge, a scarf from the Stitch Wheel, and a project of your favorite color. When it comes to my favorite color, I already know what I have planned, and I don't know if I'd be able to finish that in the week, but it would definitely be something that I could, at least start on because that project's going to be pretty big. And I wasn't planning on starting it like right now. I was going to give myself a couple of weeks because I got other stuff that needs to be done. But I guess I could start it now. I'm taking a break today and show you how much I've done on this beautiful blanket. I'm going to praise and complain at the same time. First of all, to Miss Christine, who created this pattern. It is absolutely beautiful. It's a gorgeous pattern. It's just me and my noggin that couldn't get it at first. But it's nothing against the composer and nothing against the pattern. The pattern itself is absolutely beautiful. Once I got out of my own head and was able to do it right, it's really beautiful. It's thick, and I was really thinking that at this point it would be heavy. It's got a little bit of weight to it, but it is nothing like what I expected it to be. I'm talking about my sweater, Joan. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I am going to make my purple hexagon sweater. I like the way that other one worked up so much that I am definitely going to do it. I see exactly how to do it with the sleeves, and I'm going to do it. Okay, stop fussing at me. But yes, this ended up being, I really did not think it was going to be this wide. But y'all, as I told you, I have a queen size bed, and this fits the top of my queen size bed with about a half to 3/4 inch overhang on each side. So it did end up being a lot wider than I expected. I am way too deep in to to go back and change anything now. I'm not I'm not frogging this. I'm not. I tell myself that every day. Okay, you know what? I see right now that my dear sister Joan is going to make me start my sweater today. But I can tell you that I have allowed myself a day per three color changes. So far I've done one, two, three, four, five. I've done 6 days worth. And that's amazing because I wanted to start this on Sunday. I tried to start it on Monday and I didn't actually start it until Tuesday. So if we go back to Sunday, when Al Joan is not giving me a break. I get it. I get it. I get it. Okay. So if we take it back to Sunday, I have caught up. Knowing that tomorrow, this is day 7 actually, I need to do my 3 sets for today, which is not a problem. When it comes to doing the posts, I run the post and the row behind it at the same time. I love you too, sis. I do. But I run those two at the same time. I crochet a little on the post and then I do the double crochet atop. And that way, when I end that row, because you start both of those on the same end, you start both at the beginning of both of those at the same. So you don't turn, you do your post and then you go back to the beginning of that row and then you do your double crochet and attach your post to it, working them together. And then you turn your work and do your second row of double crochet. So out of the 3 rows, once you get started, you're only really turning your work once until you get ready to start the next set. So instead of finishing the post all the way out, I do some posts, go back and catch up with the double crochet, some more posts, some more double crochet, more posts, more double crochet. So I'm ending those 2 rows together. And then I flip it over and do the half double crochet. Now where my complaint comes in is that, y'all, I'm Sagittarius. I am a true Sagittarian. I'm a December Sagittarian. I crave adventure, excitement, spontaneity, creativity. That is me. So when I'm doing this, I thought that when I did the little color changes in the post, that was going to satisfy me. No. And you ask yourself, hey, if you're all these things, then why do you love tapestry crochet so much? Because you're building something. Every single line is different than the line before, even though it's all single crochet that I do. Even though it's all single crochet, every line is different than the line before, and it's building and it's creating something different. This is just post, y'all. It's just post. And it's double crochet and treble crochet. Just post. But it's beautiful. And like I said, it has a little weight, but it is nowhere near as heavy as I thought it was going to be. I can tell you that because of the postage increase, I'm glad that the person getting this happens to work next door because by the time I finish, there's no way I would be able to afford to send it anywhere. Nowhere. Mm-mm. So now that we know what I am going to be doing today, Joan, I'm not starting it until 6. I will work on it from 6 to 10. I will. So whatever I get done in those 4 hours, I will be able to show you. I'll be able to show you tomorrow because I know we're going to video in that time. So you'll be able to see how far I got on my sweater. The blanket I just showed you, I am using mainstay, mainstay pink, mainstay teal, and mainstay white. And the light pink that I'm using is Premier's Just Yarn from Dollar Tree. Um, I really thought one of those little balls was going to last for like one section. Y'all, it took me through 5 rows of the pink. And the way my color scheme is going, it's light pink, teal, white, teal, white, teal, light pink. So it's 7 rows of the pattern that I'm using. So there are 2 pinks, 2 whites in each section, and there are 3 of the teal. I really, really, really thought that I was only going to get like 3 of those panels out of it. I am currently in my 4th panel, and I have only used 1 and a teensy weensy ball of um the Just Yarn. And the pink, the mainstay pink, I am on my 1st, 2nd. I just started my 3rd skein. All of that. I just started my 3rd skein. And if you remember, I had 7, yeah, 7 skeins because I got 4 more over there on the shelf. So it looks like I might be able to get that done with 4 skeins. I might be able to finish it out with this one because I'm only doing 4. I don't want it to be huge, but I want it to be nice. So that is what else I'm working on. And I've got to start my sweater. So with that in mind, I have really got to get some crocheting done because there were a couple of other whips that I wanted to pick up today and work on. But I just made a commitment in front of everybody. And I'm a woman of my word. So I'm going to have to pull out the yellow bag that's got the purple yarn in it. And I will get started on my sweater at 6 o'clock. Y'all, I'm not going to keep you all past this. I just want to recap what we've talked about. Um, like I said, don't forget to check the description box to see some of my go-to channels. Um, Counseling, friends, talk about it, get it out. You know, like I said, even if it means breaking up your day into segments and operating on that, fix you a schedule. I'm a person who operates off of to-do lists. But what I need to do is take that to-do list and put times to it. And not necessarily like 3 o'clock do this, 3:15 do this, but set it up into 15-minute segments. Because I'm human. I don't wake up at 6 o'clock every day. I don't put my feet on the floor at 6:15 every day. So if I break it up into the 15-minute blocks and allow myself grace in that time, what I was thinking about doing, a little different than what she said, was let it run its course for 45 minutes. Give myself 3 15-minute blocks. And the other 15 minutes, get up and do something altogether different. And then come back the other 3 15 minutes and finish out that hour and a half of crocheting that I had set aside. That way it's completely breaking it up. It's not like I walk away from it with that project still on my mind and come back to it. If I leave and say, okay, I'm going to take this 15 minutes to clean my bathroom, as big as my bathroom is, that's all it takes, 15 minutes, because we do it twice a week. But if I take that 15 minutes and go clean my bathroom, then that's that 15 minutes. And that's a task that's done. That's something I can tick off my list that I don't have to worry about. Take another 15 minutes and go wash the few dishes that might be in there, or wipe the counter down, or put some things away that might need to be put away in the kitchen. Wipe the stove down, maybe the countertops, maybe the front of the refrigerator, sweep the kitchen floor, whatever. Anything different, just to break the monotony of what's going on and stop planning myself. Y'all, I have sat at the foot of this bed so much. I have a pure dip. A pure dip because my box spring has been, has been compromised. So I'm looking for a piece of plywood or something that that I can put there to get my mattress its form back, because the mattress is literally sinking into the box spring. So I'm looking for that. And another thing that I thought about is I'm a person who likes to donate. Lots of times I get stuck on projects and get discouraged because of the fact that I like to donate, but I don't always have the postage to send these things off. And I've not found places here who are very accepting. They say that they will take these projects, but it's not designed for people with handicap that can't drive to these places to deliver them. They don't have ways to come pick these things up, or the area that you live in. This is what I experienced some time ago. The area that you live in doesn't allow, big trucks or those types of things. And I'm a giving person and I love to give things. I had thought at one point about making blankets for each apartment out here. It's 120. I could do that. That would be that would be fun for me. But y'all please forgive me. um like I said, I love the organizations that are outside of my reach. And I just don't have the means to get it to them. So I'm going to play more games on my phone and I'm going to push harder to become monetized so that I can increase my enjoyment and I can donate to places and things. But I'm not going to hold you guys. I just want you all to always remember to be bold, be brave, be beautiful, and behave. Remember, Kitty Lane told you, and remember, Kitty Lane loved you. So until we see each other again on these YouTube streets, peace out, everybody.